go hood rats. We have got a buddy's 1970 F100 here, and we are going to be doing a ton of work on this thing, and you guys are going to want to stay tuned because this is going to be a cool one. Check this rig out. Found this thing on Facebook Marketplace and sent it over to my buddy who'd been looking for him for a while, and he snagged this rig for the low price of $7,000. I think that's a steal, guys. You know, the paint's not perfect, but it's pretty nice. The interior on this thing has a super cool split bench that is just beautiful and feels great. So we're gonna get this thing in the shop, and I'll start talking to you guys with some of the stuff we're gonna get done. Some of the stuff we're gonna get done on this thing. As you guys can hear, that's our first problem. Our buddy installed something really cool, but it's not running right. So let's get into this and see what's going on. So I guess I should start by addressing what we've got underneath the hood. So this is a 1970 F100 two-wheel drive edition, and it has either a 352, a 360, or a 390. We honestly don't know unless we measure the stroke of the cylinder, and I might do that, and that way he can know for sure. But yeah, nonetheless, we've got a Ford FE big block, and our buddy has already done a couple of things to it. Namely, installed this Holley Sniper throttle body EFI kit, and it runs pretty freaking good. But it idles weird and it has a weird vacuum noise, and I think we might be having a fuel delivery issue. So the name of the game on this thing is get it dialed in. It's in pretty good shape, but we need to get it to the next level. So some of the stuff we'll be doing includes putting on better brakes, which means replacing this old vacuum assist master cylinder and putting on something really cool. And I'll show you guys that in a second. So another thing we gotta do, change the exhaust manifold gaskets because they're gone. And we'll be replacing some hoses, and you know, oh, the other big thing, gotta change that gearbox because it's sloppy. So let's come over here to our parts and see what we got going on. Oh, I forgot of something. Check it out, guys. Check out the rake on this thing. I don't know if you can see it, but the back end is definitely up higher than the front end. We've got a lowering kit for it too. We're gonna lower the back end either 2 or 4 inches. So here we've got our Redman gearbox. That's gonna be pretty sweet. Got the new rotors, got the new calipers, more rotors. These I believe are the rears. Super fancy Pentacin Super Dot 4 brake fluid from Germany. Yeah, that's when you know you're living the high life, guys, when you get German brake fluid. We're gonna get this thing up on the lift. Oh, don't run. Okay, you have to come here now. You have to come here now. Yeah. When I keep saying we, so I guess I gotta introduce you to like my best cousin ever. Yeah. He's definitely the most handsome out of all of the cousins. This is Dylan. Howdy. We call him the Big D. And I'm gonna link a picture of him and me back when we were little right here. And yeah, we grew up spending a lot of time together, going to a beach house every October. Don't worry, we're not rich.
I wish.
And he's gonna help me with this thing, so stay tuned. I wrestled with this thing a little bit last night and then went home and watched some videos on the YouTubes on how to get this thing running a little better. And I found 2 key issues. First thing, we've got an old school style points distributor ignition on this. And I have a new one right here, and I have another new one in there, and I have the old one right here. If you guys look at these contacts for that distributor, and I'll get a picture of that up close, they're pretty burned out and gross. They've got some pitting in them, and they're no good. I changed those and it got a little bit better, but I still had this issue. I'm gonna try and fire it up right now. I have it set to where it was when I got it. We'll fire it up and I'll show you what I mean. I'll get in there and crank the key. We'll have Dylan hang out up here and watch. Okay, there you guys can see I got my fuel pump turned on. Now I'm gonna crank it. Yeah, it just does not like to stay running. Let's try again. Let me show you guys what I was doing. So my buddy just installed this EFI, this Holley Sniper EFI kit, and wouldn't you know, the throttle adjustment, whoa, watch out, there's a fan down there, remember?
I totally forgot.
Yeah. You okay?
Yeah.
If we go inside the car, I'll show you what's going on the dash on this gauge. So here right now, we've got a throttle position of 0%, but our IAC is way up open. It's at 45. So I'm gonna do some adjusting on this as per the Holley Sniper website and their YouTube videos. And we're gonna get that IAC to be at about 3 to 6%. So the first things first, we need the temperature right here. We need that coolant temperature to come up to about 160. So we're gonna let this idle and get up to temp real quick. Dylan almost lost a finger.
We almost lost the camera, not my finger.
She's idling pretty good. What you can hear though is that IAC, that idle air control valve, is just sucking air down. Listen. It's that opening right there. Okay, I'm gonna set this idle a little better and then we'll come back to it.
So I didn't lose my hand, but the thing that Nick was talking about is there's a fan right here that was running, and I wasn't paying attention at how long the handle is on the camera. So it's really long. It's probably, I don't know, a little less than a foot long. And I was holding the camera like this, trying to get a good view here, and it kind of just, so it wasn't bad or anything, but it's just kind of one of those things that wakes you up, you know, and you're like, oh, that'll wake you up in the morning.
This should wake you up because I'm about to turn it on. There we go. I got the idle set with the adjustment screw, and now look at our settings. Look, our IAC dropped way lower. That's way better, guys. Oh, we're already almost in the zone. That's good. And you can hear it's a lot quieter up in the front. We'll go up there in a second. So yeah, we'll let this thing idle up to temp. We're already at 138, so let it run for a bit. And should get it into position, but listen to that. Much more better. Now you can really hear the exhaust leak. What the heck, guys? Come on in and check this out. I was right coming up to 160. We were at 158, we hit 160, and boom, the car stalled. And now I've got an IAC position of 33. I don't know what the heck's happening, so I think I'm going to try and drop that throttle in a little more, out maybe a half a turn, and we'll see what's up.
So for us who aren't super savvy, let us know what IAC means. Give us your best guess in the comments. Me personally, I think it's International Asian Commerce. I have a good feeling about that one.
No. So, drum roll please. IAC stands for... I forgot.
Yeah, we're gonna cut this in post.
Okay, IAC stands for Idle Air Control Valve, and it basically allows air to bypass the throttle body so that your car will stay running when the throttle body is mostly closed. It's just kind of a way that they computer control your idle to keep it right on the money where you want it to be. Okay guys, I'm watching the video on this, and I'm thinking that I need to reconfigure this SD card and redo the setup wizard. So I've got the SD card out. I've actually got the holder for the SD card out, and I have the real SD card in my laptop. I'm gonna do some updating and see if I can't get this thing to let me set the target idle speed in the wizard and then make that be the same idle speed in the idle adjustment, because they say that's one of the key things you need to do to get this thing to run right. So let's give it a go. I just plugged this SD card in. Let's see if I can find it. And there she is. I don't know what formatting to do. I should watch the video. I'm gonna keep watching this video right here.
Adapter, like one of these.
And we'll see what's up.
SD card in the file
So,
explorer.
stay tuned. 1 SD card. 2 SD cards. 3 SD cards. This one's even a SanDisk, a nice one. 3 different SD cards. Tried it 3 different ways. I called tech support. They walked me through and had me do the exact same thing that I did. They had me disconnect power to the controller, check the wires, the CAN bus wires on the controller, check voltage at the computer, which is the 7-pin connector to this Holley. I did all this stuff for them to tell me after an hour and 5 minutes of, you need a new one. It's only been ran for like maybe 45 minutes, driven twice, 3 times. He ordered it back in March, end of March, March 30th of 2024, and it's only got a 3-month warranty, so it's out of warranty. So is he out like $1,200? No, they're actually kind of cool. So they're like, look, you can send it back for $250, we'll repair it. And it's like, oh, that's kind of stupid. And then they're like, or you can send it back, and for $250, we'll give you the Sniper 2, which is way better apparently. So this Sniper 1 is actually over 10 years old. So the technology, the screen itself is all kind of antiquated. So thankfully, we're going to be sending this off, and for $250, we're getting the new one. So, man, I had so many weird things happen with it that it just makes sense that the computer is being a turd. Okay, we are going to get ready to start doing these brakes and the exhaust manifold gasket and changing that steering gear. And we're going to have the Big D do it for me. Stick that in, and you use the vacuum, suck it all up. Okay, good trick to get these out is to wiggle the line a little bit, and it'll take the pressure off of the nut. Dylan's over there laughing.
No, you're supposed to check that out.
Oh, hello. Yes, I'm inside here. I know. There's a better way to take this apart, but I want to get this off and leave the bracket because I don't know if the new one comes with this bracket here. So I'm just taking off this first half of the booster assembly, and I really need something to push this pin through. Okay, while Big D's up top taking off the brake booster, I'm down here. I'm gonna start draining this coolant out. We got a bunch of heater hoses we want to replace. So just undoing the petcock valve, making a big old mess probably. I got splashed. Let that thing take a whiz for a bit, and we'll come back and start taking these heater hoses off right here. You can check them out. They're these old red ones that you get at the hardware store, and I don't trust them. Some of them are starting to bulge on the sides. Some of them were leaking because the clamps are really ghetto and old. So we're just gonna replace all of it. I've got a bunch of heater hose and start going to town. Still taking a leak down here, and we're gonna have to whip this thing out real quick. Gotta support the master, yeah, like that.
Support.
And should pull out. There we go. Out with the old. This is gonna give us tons of room to get in here and do our gearbox and this manifold.
Hey, what's up, hood rats? It's Big D here. Don't ask why they call me that. So another helpful tip y'all can do is make sure you label your bags before you put stuff in it. So then you don't have to spend 20 years looking for it. You can just chuck it in there and you need it. Boom! Brake master bolts.
So,
You're welcome.
so Dylan,
Quit recording.
So Big D.
Quit recording.
So
GoPro, stop recording. Ah. Very unprofessional.
we've got pretty much everything we need up on the top end. We gotta get the rest underneath. Been a long day.
If you've had a long day, you may qualify for financial compensation. Call 1-800-thisisfake.com. We're gonna cut that in post too. All right, Uncle Noah, what are your thoughts on today's project, innit?
It's a happy Tuesday, isn't it?
Today is the day after Monday, which makes it Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
I see what I have to put up with. Okay, so from up under here, we got to be getting to the exhaust manifold bolts on the underside, which my lighting's not great. Let me get another one. We're gonna get to these lower intake the lower exhaust manifold bolts. It's funny, you see there's a ton of washers on that one right there.
Safety first.
Oh, what the heck? There's like 3 washers on that. So yeah, we got to get to those, rip them out, and then pull those logs off. And on this side, oh, I'm gonna grab my light. On this side, we have got a very dirty steering gearbox that needs to come off. So we need to take this nut off, and we're gonna take the bolts that hold it into the frame right here out, and get all these zip ties out of the way. So inside here, we're getting these exhaust manifold bolts, and we've noticed that a lot of them are like hand tight. I mean, you barely have to put any force on them to get them out. Let me grab my tool. So most people know when you're working on exhaust stuff, this setup right here would never get it out if it was in there like it's supposed to be. So check this out. Got her on reverses. Get up in here. We're on the manifold bolt, and oh, speak of the devil, it actually doesn't work. I spoke too soon.
You know, Nick, you really shouldn't speak of the devil.
There we go. You see that, guys? Those are not that hard to get out, which means someone's been in here before and they didn't tighten them enough. So, not a big deal, but kind of probably why it was blowing smoke everywhere.
What's your thought of the day? What's your thought of the day, Noel?
It's a good Tuesday, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Bloody fantastic Tuesday, innit? I think I fancy myself a pint down at the pub, eh? You got nowhere to go and you're all gussied up. She was in Oklahoma smoke show.
Guys, we're underneath and we've pretty much got this gearbox out. It's heavier than snot. Yeah. Oh, now we're hitting the exhaust. Yeah. Oh, Moses.
You have it?
Yeah. I got it. Woo! There it is, guys.
Nasty.
Nasty girl. This has to get sent back as a core to Redman or Redskin or Ford.
Ruffles still.
To I believe it's to Red Top. I can't remember. I know that they're a pretty reputable rebuilder of them, but yeah, check that out. This thing's been puking its guts out for a long time. One more thing. Oh, ow, balls.
We're keeping that in there.
One more thing. Got the exhaust manifold out on that side. And check this out. She should be out on this side. Oh, hot, heat, hot. I think I need to take it out from the top. Let's try that.
2 hours later.
Oh man.
Do an ASMR for the viewers.
What's ASMR?
Like weird squeaky sounds.
It's like super
There you go.
No, just the noise in general. It's just that it's very loud.
It's these weird videos.
Just rub your hands. Just rub your hands together. Slowly, like it's like for...
Can I do an OnlyFans page for this? Cleaning your hands?
ASMR is I'll explain later. When you're older. When a mommy and a daddy, wait, sorry, wrong.
Okay guys, here we go. Here comes this log. Oh man, that gasket is cooked. Oh, of course the hoses just take a nosedive on me.
I'll keep the hose back.
Come on, it's got just this tiniest little lip that needs to get over. There we go. Okay. Oh, there we go, guys. So check this out. Big D, if you come in here, I'll show you guys. This cracked right there. That's a crack.
JB welded it.
Yeah, right. Look, that crack goes all the way through too. You can see it there. So we're gonna get new log.
There's another one too. Right there. Someone fixed
No,
it.
that's no, that's this is anti-seize.
Oh.
That was on the bolts.
See, look, genuine Ford parts. We're taking that out in post. Don't worry.
Look at these gaskets, guys, just completely blown out.
Little bit of RTV and those are good to go again.
Yeah. So that gets us pretty far along. I'm gonna keep doing these hoses once we put the manifolds back in, and I'm probably gonna have to get some new ones coming, some new logs. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to Newell's ASMR channel.
This is Newell sanding his hands because the gloves don't work for me very well.
Oh, there we go.
Do you think I could do an OF page of me cleaning my hands? Would people? Isn't that a fetish?
Let us know in the comments.
Okay, guys.
Let us know in the comments.
Okay, back to real car stuff. Here's the gasket on the driver's side. This is the one that was really bad. So, covered the spark plugs in soot, and come over here. Look at how nasty this is down in here. Oh, all that grime and fluid. We're gonna pressure wash this baby later on and get this looking nice and pretty. So, that's all for today, folks.
Insert Looney Tunes.
You know that guy on YouTube that washes carpets? Have you ever watched that guy?
But sure.
He gets these old carpets that have been like in floods and stuff, and he washes them over, and I'm like...
Like pressure washing
And
and
he
stuff.
squeegees them.
He squeegees them, he wears white boots. I think if I put on white boots and I did this, I could do a page where you take my hands before and after, and that's probably a whole page in and of itself.
It would probably be easier if you washed your hands more than once a year.
Well, we're on to our next task on this project, and that is the fun one. Giving us a little bit of whoa! A little bit of whoa! A little bit of wow! So, we're going to be deleting these drum brakes back here and running nothing. No. We're going to delete these drum brakes, and we are going to be installing a kit from MP Brakes. I think it's Master Power or something like that. We'll show you guys some of the literature in a little bit. But we're going to be taking these drum brakes off and installing a disc brake kit. So we're going to go from this crappy setup to this. We've already done the passenger side, kind of rough fit. I think this is going to be how it ends up running, and I'm pretty happy with how it came together. So let's get started on the other side so you guys can see just what we did to get to here. Take a look, right, like take a shot from like right here and like kind of pan through it.
Okay, so come in and go like this.
Yeah. And then get the...
Yeah.
First thing we need to do is get rid of this drum. So I like to give it a couple of taps as I pull. Spin it a couple of times. Make sure it's not catching the drums. I'll even spin it in reverse too, and it should slide off. And look at all that brake disc. So he was having to adjust these about every 3 or 4 days. They'd go out of adjustment. So why not just put a super expensive, awesome disc brake kit on? Now you can see inside here, you see how this looks all fuzzy on the wheel cylinder? This is what provides the brake pressure right here. If this looks fuzzy like this, chances are it's seeping and needs to be replaced. If it was really leaking badly, you'd see all of this covered in moisture, brake fluid moisture. But I don't like, look at this seal wasn't even on all the way. You can see some fluid down in there in that little crack right there. So it's a good thing we're doing this, because this setup's kind of tired. Remember, I've talked about these before. You always want to use a line wrench on your brake lines, fuel lines, any fitting that has a tendency to strip out. You see there, I cracked it and I didn't twist my line. It's coming pretty good. Wiggle your line a little, it'll make it easier to finally pull it all the way out. And there we go, guys. Got that line off, and because we've done the other side, most of the fluid is drained out of here. So you might have seen me use these before. I like using these. They're just metal dikes, wire cutters, side cutters, whatever you want to call it, for pulling these springs off. They bite into it pretty well, and I'm not pinching hard enough to like cut it or deform it. And it just makes it pretty simple process to take them off. With all of that removed, we should be ready Freddy to take this the bolts out of here, if we can find them, covered in all this goop. As you can see, thankfully Ford was nice enough to put a hole here on the hub assembly on the flange of the axle shaft so that we can get to the 4 bolts holding the retainer plate on. So we'll whip those out and we should be able to pull this whole assembly out. This whole shaft should just pull out with the backing plate as well. Like that. Ka-chow. So now, my friends, we need to get all of this off of here. We need to pull the bearing, we need to remove this retainer, and get ourselves set up so that we can put it back together.
And we're live here in the Hood Rats garage.
I think that's about all I can do before I get to
No music.
copyright infringement.
And the music just stopped. Oh, that's awkward.
Hey, Hood Rats. This is formerly homeless Newell at Hood Rats Garage. Nick asked me to show you our redneck solution. It's a, it's a redneck solution. We don't have a lathe, but we've got to cut these axles down so that they fit the brake calipers, so they fit the brake rotor. So we're going to go ahead and show you our solution to this, which is exceedingly redneck, but it worked. So here we go.
Have you ever heard a redneck say exceedingly?
It's freaking redneck, dude.
City slicker.
Okay, so the first thing that we did was we set the axle up and clamped the bearing into the axle, and we've got it so that when we spin this axle, I'll be able to use a grinder on this end, because we've got to shave this down about 1/4 of an inch on this lip so that the brake rotor fits over this. Right now this is too big for the rotor. So what I did is I found one of my hole cutting drill bits, and I took the pilot bit out, and believe it or not, this thing fits just, you can come over and get this, believe it or not, this thing fits just perfectly over that. What do you think about that? That's amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and then tape it, get it prepped, and then we're going to show you how we get this done. So I just take the tape that I used from the other one that we already tested this with, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap that around the bit onto the axle shaft so that we can attach this and create our redneck lathe. We take our trusty drill, put it onto this end like a so. So now we have a lathe motor. And watch what happens when I pull this trigger. Yeah, it's a lathe. We just propped it up on this little stand and we kind of put stuff around it to keep it from slopping around too much. It's really a sloppy, messy way to do it, but it beats going an hour and a half back and forth to some machine shop, finding someone that'll do it, finding someone who'll do it today.
When Frankenstein made this, you know what he said?
What?
It's a lathe!
It's a lathe! It's a lathe!
It's a lathe! That's basically what you said. You said it's a lathe, and then it made me think of that. See, I don't have the kids, but I'm already working on my dad jokes, so I'm like 50% of the way there.
Yeah.
Now I just need to con a woman into loving me.
That's what I did.
I just take my metal grinding wheel, I put it onto my grinder, not this way, this way. And Nick was feeling kind of sketched out the other day, and because I never do this. I never put the guard on.
Hold up. I never put the guard on either, but the disc was spinning and my face was in the path of least resistance like that. And I didn't want to, like, I just had images of my jugular, that thing exploding and just boom. And then I'm dead before I even hit the floor.
He remembers the time I was using my grinder and pulled the trigger and touched the material, and the blade exploded and shoved a piece of the blade into my finger and stuck the other part up into the ceiling, and then I had to go get stitches.
and I was there and I saw a piece go whew.
Yeah. So really, in all seriousness, just take safety.
Hey, also put some glasses on.
Sorry about that.
Remember, always have the correct PPE.
You're gonna be the
guinea
lathe guy.
pig?
The lathe guy.
You mean I'm gonna get lathed? I'm gonna get lathed. Nice.
I feel really lazy, baby.
How does it feel to treat me like you do?
You like hearing your voice like that?
So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this edge up right here. I'm going to use this as he turns it. I'm going to clean that so I could then mark the size of the cutoff. Go ahead and start turning that. So I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to put it on, because the width that we need is 6.6. We're going to go 3.3 from the center. Hit it. And now I'm just going to finish it up with some polished looks. Go. And voila. Boom. All right. That's it. We got it. So we'll go ahead and disconnect all this stuff, and then we'll move to the next procedure. So now those bearings for sure coming off. Oh, those bearings were fine. What a shame. That still can't come off. What? Finished grinding all the parts off, and You're supposed to be really careful that when you do this grinding that you don't hit the shaft. If you do hit it, it's, as long as it's not too bad, it's not a big deal. But I've gone ahead and I've got this thing. You can see this moving now? I was able to break that. And now I can just take my little hammer and my little, and voila! And the bearing is off and the plate is off. Voila. And that's the redneck way of doing things.
You should say your why don't seagulls roll through London joke for the kids at home who dream about working at Hood Rat's garage one day.
I forget it.
Why don't
seagulls roll through London?
I dunno.
'Cause they nick your wallet and eat your chips.